Good morning, traders. Welcome to Trading Together. I'm Mel Gacee. Nice to see you all here. Today is Tuesday, March the 17th, otherwise known as St. Patty's Day. So a little bit of luck of the Irish for all of us here today, we are hoping for. And if you are here and you have not said hi yet, just drop your name in the chat. Let me know that you're here. Let me know who you are. This is a friendly, interactive stream. My goal here is to support traders of all levels. So if you are beginning, you are welcome. If you are advanced, you are welcome as well. I will answer all your questions and comments to the best of my ability. And if we're lucky and we get some good setups, we'll take some trades today. All right. So looks like Craig is here. Good morning. And Val Sundberg. Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for saying hi. Really happy to see you guys here. All right. Let's take a look at what we're getting on these charts. We've taken a couple of trades already this morning. Mostly calls for me, although I am in a put right now. We are breaking the VWAP. So let's see what we're going to get here. We've been mostly sideways for the last several, I guess close to an hour, really. I need to set this real quick here. Okay. All right, there we go. Oh, that's much nicer for me. I'm just a few percent away from green. I was just a little bit red there for a minute. And they're just toggling. It's driving me crazy. So we've had this kind of looks like a little bit of a run here, but it's really hasn't gone very far. We came up over the VWAP and now, just now, we're back down under it. So watching to see what happens here. We're sitting right on, if you notice, we're really respecting the 100 period right now over the last hour or so. We keep getting bounces off of it. This is the 100 period moving average. There we go. All right, come on now. Come on. Boom. I'm out. Awesome sauce. Okay. Jeff is here. Good morning. Hatman is here. Good morning. Gavilan. Good morning. I happened to be sitting in a put right when we started the stream, and I just got out of it right now. So let's reset here and see what we got going on. Let me zoom out a bit. Looking a little wonky, isn't it, guys? I don't love it. Freaky Turkey is here. Good morning. Definitely looking weak is what it looks like to me. Break of the VWAP. Looks like we'll come down and test this level right here. This is the high of day on the futures, which is just slightly different from the high of day on the SPY, the SPY. Getting a little bounce here on our VIX. We can't seem to break out of 22, although we did knock down into 21.8. We've really been in the 22 zone today on the VIX. Good morning, BD. Good to see you. So the trades within this last hour have been a little tricky. Tiny moves up, tiny moves down. This is the biggest move down we've seen since about 10:20 Eastern. And I did, like I said, I did trade that one right before the stream started. So I probably will not trade it again. Let's wait and see what kind of range we get, if they range or if they drop. What I'm waiting to see if we break this right here. This level right here. See where we stopped? Hard stop right there. So that last slide that we had, so we came into the morning with this push up, then we slid down, hit right at the high of day on the ES, which again is different than on the SPY. And we rose a bit from there, but not hard. It wasn't really a strong rise. And then we started down again. So this part in here has been a bit rangy. Let's see what we got. I'm waiting for a break to the bottom or a push back up through the VWAP on the SPY. Let's look at our leaderboard here. That's what I call the watch list. I call it my leaderboard. Okay, here we go. Another little, okay, dropping down. So I'm looking at this break here on the SPY of the high of day from yesterday. I'm also looking at this previous low. That's what I'm watching. I'm not trading this move again because one of my rules says I don't usually trade the same move twice. Sometimes I do if there are circumstances that tell me to, such as we're breaking a VWAP or some strong level. But usually I do not. So I've already traded this put, made some money on it. I'm out. And now I'm watching for a level to get hit. So let's see where we wind up. I'm looking for this level right here to get hit. 67.79 on the ES, which is just 4 points below us. It's right here. Look at how many red candles in a row. Certainly weakness here. Do we want to go down and fill today's gap? So remember, a gap is created when the open of today is greater or less than the close of yesterday. So if we open greater than our close yesterday, we are gapping up. If we open lower than our close yesterday, we are gapping down. Today, we opened with a gap up of 30 plus points. Okay, here's our almost test. And the odds are that those gaps fill same day. They don't always, but many, many days they do. More often than not, the same day gaps fill more often than not. And it depends on the level of volume we saw overnight where the gap was created. So if a gap is created from institutional pressure with lots of volume, odds are less that that gap fills. If it's minor volume or lesser volume, not so much pressure, odds are pretty good that gap will fill. I hope I said that correctly. If the volume is high, odds are lower that the gap fills. So it may not fill when we have high volume overnight on a gap that's created. But on lower volume overnight on a gap that's created, we usually do see a gap fill more often than not. What that would mean for us today is a drop all the way back down to 6,700 on the SPX. And that level was heavily, heavily defended yesterday. Heavily trafficked, heavily defended. We were over and under the 67 all darn day yesterday. And it was tough to trade. I made money. We made money on the stream, but it was tough trading. It's been tough trading. I'm making tiny wins these last few days. I don't love that, but the win rate stays high and I am staying green. So that's what matters. But these tiny wins are not my favorite. And of course, as volatility comes down, meaning the VIX is moving down, we tend to see these moves pay less. Volatility is nice when you're trading, day trading, because boom, you get those high percents real fast. But on the days where volatility is dropping, like today, VIX is all the way down to 22. from 24, 25 yesterday, we tend to see these prices, these premiums, they don't move as quickly. So a nice move where we would normally see a 10 or a 12% win turns into, a 3 or 4% win. It's frustrating, but it is the way it is. That is how it goes when volatility starts to shrink. And also, I'm trading very, very cautiously these days. All right, so you can see down here, I'll widen this screen a little bit. We're getting a bounce here, and we could consider calls in just a minute. But basically, I'm going to show you the SPX, the S&P 500, and this 6,700 level. This is a 5-minute chart. This is yesterday's chart. And what we see is this over, under, right here, this red line is the 6,700. We were over it, under it, over it, under it, over it, under it, over it, under it, and we closed right on it. That's the closing bar for yesterday, right on 6,700. That is what prompted me to take a call overnight because they held 6,700. That was more bullish than bearish. But again, it's been tough trading because it's very sideways. It is sideways, and that is a challenge. So today, what did they do? This happens a lot. This was an area of contention all day long. It was an area where bulls and bears fought over it all day. And what did they do when they have trouble beating a resistance or a support zone? They gap it. That they're famous for that. If they struggle to beat a level, either bulls or bears, they will gap it overnight. And that is what happened. We gapped up, we reclaimed 6,700, and now the level that we're fighting over is basically kind of right in through this 67.35 zone, kind of right in that area. So we are getting a little bit of a bounce here, but again, these are, see how slow moving this is, tiny candles, tough to trade. It is tough to trade. These little 3% wins, I mean, they add up and we're fine, but it's nice when we get the big moving candles with big moving volatility. Those are a lot more fun days to trade. All right, if we get a little bounce here and we start to try to recover this VWAP, I'm going to look for calls. And if I were to take calls, I'd be looking at the 672 level. All right, let me get this chart back down into size. And there's our VIX. Just giving us this 22 level, just doesn't, it's really kind of parking itself right here at 22. Okay, nice little push off this 200 moving average. Do you see it? You see this turquoise line? This is the 200 period moving average. We're bouncing off of it. Look how many candles are bouncing off of it. 672 is where we're sitting. We're getting a MACD roll to the upside. We haven't crossed the VWAP, so if I took this trade, it would be a bit counter trend. If you look at where we've been this morning, down, slight up, down. So we haven't made a lower low yet, but it feels a bit of a counter trend, especially being under the VWAP, but I am considering it. So let's see what we get here. Oh, there it goes. Push to the VWAP. All right, I am going to try the call here. Very small position. I am in, punch it. Very small position because it's a little riskier as we come and try to approach this VWAP. I'm looking for it to push up toward the VWAP. I don't necessarily need it to push all the way through it. That was icky. Okay. Bit of a long candle there. There's a little bounce. Looks trappy. It does, doesn't it, BD? I feel you. One Voice, welcome. I don't think I've seen you here before. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining. Love the name, One Voice. Beautiful. All right, come on now. Let's give us a push to the VWAP. Coming over from BioAlerts. Welcome, welcome. All right, guys, I'm jumping out here. That's a 4% win. I'm out. Not going to wait for a push up through the VWAP. Are you willing to tell me who you are, One Voice? I would love to know. All right, guys, so I took a quick little win on that one. It was tiny. All of my wins have been tiny. That was about 3%. Taking tiny wins. Oh, Jen, welcome, Jen. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. All right. Good thing we jumped out of that one real quick. So what I was looking at when I got out here was the spike on this candle. And because I wasn't waiting for it to punch up through the VWAP, I was willing to take that spike there and my quick 3%. I'm okay with that. As you can see, zooming out, we're getting the full view of this ranging pattern, right? Ranging. But watch it bouncing off this 100. It's really respecting, 200. This turquoise line is the 200 period moving average. We do keep seeing over the last 10, 15 minutes this bounce here. See if we bounce again or if we break. Nope, there's a little break of the 200. Could we consider puts here? We could. If I took puts, I would be looking at the 672s. But I'm not in. I'm just looking. Let's see if it tries to recover the 200 here or we continue down. We're starting to get a rollover on the MACD. Got a little break of the 200 here. Let's see if they continue it on down or we pull it back up. Is there a gap fill in our future today? Could be. But look at this line, guys. Do you see it? This was held firm at 10:17 Eastern, and it held firm right now so far. So far. A break of this line, I would trade puts. It is trying to hold. This is a Clearly an important line. Look at that. Do you see why I put these lines on my chart, guys? You never know which line is going to get respected. You never know. But that's why I've got so many darn lines. But here we see this one got respected here, and it's gotten respected here. BD. In the puts, 673, 172, out at $2. Reduced my contracts. Nicely done, BD. Very nicely done. Congrats on that win. We're definitely holding here. So let's see if we get another bounce upward. I would pivot over to calls here. Let's see what we get. The problem right here is this range. It's hard to trade. 79. It's about a 20-point range, so it can be traded. Technically, I will trade a 20-point range. Got out as it hit the 200 EMA on the 1 minute. Good thinking, BD, and I'm glad you made money on that. Okay, did recover the 200. Look at it, trying to break it again. Now, if we break this bottom, like I said, we break this high of day, I am willing to jump on a put here. But so far, we're just holding, just holding. So we made a little money this morning. Wasn't a huge trade, but a little one. Okay, trying to bounce here off the 200 again. There we go. I might pivot over to calls with this bounce off the 200. Let's see. As I think BD said earlier, it does feel trappy. It really is trappy right now. These ranges are trappy. Okay. These ranges are trappy. And of course, the VIX is really doing nothing, just hovering here at 22. It hasn't gone up or down much today. I mean, it has, but for what it normally moves, we're not seeing huge moves on the VIX. All right, little bounce off the 200 here. Kind of feeling like I might pivot over to calls. Looking at the 672 calls. I'm not in it. I'm not in it. This is very, very small range right here. Just this little area right in here has been a tiny range. I'm waiting. We are getting the MACD to brighten up, but if you notice these bars on the MACD as of right now, they're kind of tiny. Which means that we are not getting very much momentum, which clearly we are not. So when you see those bars get tiny, you see the moving averages start to pile up on top of each other. You do recognize range. Okay, little push here. We have a recent top right here, right before the VWAP. So I wouldn't jump on the calls just yet. This little range in here has to break. That's what I'm looking for. All right, Freaky, holding the 50 EMA so far. Yes, I don't know what chart, what time period you're looking at. As of right now, we are under the 50, which might be what you mean. We've been really rejecting off the 50, and here it comes back down. Now, again, I'm looking for this bottom to break or this top to break. That's what I need to see to take a trade right now. Yep, a break above the VWAP or a break below this level right here, this high of day. So yeah, like I was saying, tiny little bars here tell us not a lot of momentum. Moving averages on top of each other tell us we are beginning to range. We are ranging. Okay, I am sitting in calls. I might switch over to puts here. We're coming back down to test this level. So I am going to pivot over to puts here. I'm not in them. I'm looking at the 672 puts, but I'm not in them yet. I need that bottom to break. Jeff, why can the RSI on the call be less or more than the SPY? I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure I understand. The RSI on the call? Sorry, Jeff, help me with that one a little bit. Okay, pushing this bottom here, not taking it until I see a clear break. Looking like a bit of a bounce here. The RSI on the call you had proposed was less than the SPY call. I not totally sure I understand the question, but I will say that I do look at RSI, but I don't use it as my primary decision maker. I will look at it when it's doing this kind of stuff here. So see where it's oversold here, oversold here. When I see that, I am cautious. But other than that, overbought, oversold, because here we've got an overbought condition. Other than that, I don't really use the RSI to make a decision. And I'll look at it, for reference, but it's not really a super big factor in my mind. Okay, getting a bounce here off of that same level, guys. Look at this. 1, 2, 3 bounces off of this level. That is giving us a triple bottom, which can be bullish. BD saying we've got major resistance at 671.6 for attempts. Yes, I think you might be talking about, I think you mean support, and you're exactly right, BD. That's exactly what I was just saying. 1, 2, 3, you could call this an attempt right here. That is major support level there. All right, bouncing up a bit here. I am willing to pivot over to calls based on this defense of this level. So if I looked at calls, I'd be looking at the 672s. But good eye there, BD. That is exactly right. There is major, major support here. BD, am I working on a Discord channel? I will create a Discord channel, BD. I don't have one yet, but I will create one. All right. Coming back down. What I'll also be doing, BD, at some point is extending my live trading hours as well. Okay, back here at this bottom again. If they break it, I'm pivoting to puts. Dan Eichhorst, good morning. Good to see you. All right, we break this bottom here. I'm in a put. I'm looking at 672 puts. Looks to me like they're trying to break it. Sitting on the VWAP for the ES, not for the SPY. We're below it on the SPY. Here's a hold so far. I don't want to get trapped here. I am picking up a little bit on this candle. Little bounce. There we go. Little bounce. There we go. I'm going to try a quick put here. Really only just a couple of percent is what I'm looking for. And 7%, 9%. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm out. Punch it. That's 14%. I hope you guys grabbed that one with me. See how quickly we can capitalize on a tiny little move here. And what was I waiting for? The break of this level. Now, what happened? What did they do? Let's zoom in. I want you to see these little games that they play and how I took that trade and why. Great job, boss. Thanks. Thanks, BD. Here's how and why I took that trade. This right here, this, which I saw them do. They see this wick? I waited for the rise back up. And when I saw about to move back down again, I knew they were going to test the bottom of this candle. So on that trade, and I jumped right back out before they were able to push it back up to that level. Now, of course, here we go. We're losing it, which is what we thought. Gabline didn't take it. Okay, no worries. Jeff got 9%. Great job, Jeff. And we are coming down here now after we fought. Here's the thing with breaking a level. You can think of it as kicking in a door, right? You got to hit that thing a few times to break through. And that's what happened with this level here. This level was really important for a while, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And then boom, as soon as they lost it, look at that. Boom. Coming down. All right. I might grab a quick put here. I don't know yet. I'm looking. Let me see. See if we've got any more room on this one. Volume picking up. Right at the edge of the VWAP. Not in anything. There's a little bounce here. That one came down almost to fill the gap. Looks to me like they might try to fill the gap. We are a bit oversold here. We are at the edge of the VWAP. Might be a little too risky to jump on a put here, but I do think they'll push it down farther. We could actually fill the gap. It might be a little too risky for a put right here at this moment. But that was a nice red bar, wasn't it, guys? Too bad. It's okay. I think we got, what, 13, 14% on that one? Good for me. I'm happy. All right, little bounce. 67.15. Did we defend 6,700 here? 67.13. Nope, we did not, but I bet you we're going to hit it. I bet you we'll come down and hit 6,700, which will, and we'll retest all day yesterday. What are we going to do before we get there? No. Got our VIX bouncing. Oh, first bounce over 22 this morning. Finally made it into 23. VIX is just anemic in 20 at the 22 level. All right, I'm going to take a quick put here. I'm in. I'm not going to stay too long because this could be trappy here. It could be forming a bottom. Little bounce here. %, twice. Nicely done, Freaky. It's a real big, strong bounce. So we'll see what we get. I think we should come down and fill the gap and test 6,700, but it doesn't have to do it right now. It can play all day long if it wants to. See if we can test this bottom one more time. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like this little bounce here. $67.8, $7.12. Really do think it's very likely that we come down and test 6,700. Here we go. That's better. Come on. Just need to get down to this bottom again right here. 670 on the SPY. Give us an 15. All right, just looking for a test of this bottom here. That'll be enough for me. It's trying to hold. 67.16. And if any of you are in the trade and you have green, go ahead and take it. I don't have green yet. Yeah, I don't like this movement here. It's trying to hold. Come on. Little volume pick up here. Let's see which way it wants to go. The area held at pre-market. Thank you, BD. $670 on the SPY is where we're at. It did hold right there, BD. Yep, I see it. Right in here at the roughly 9 o'clock pre-market, 8:30. There's a bounce. Getting call signals here. Getting a rollover on the MACD. Just the VWAP on the ES here. Back to work. Thanks for the insight. Have a great day, Freaky. Good to see you. Let's see what we get here at the VWAP. BD below the 5-minute range might hold for downward movement. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. It's giving us call signals here. Sitting right on the VWAP on the ES. So let's see what we get here. All right, little hold here. Let's see what we get. 67.23 on the SPX. No, that looks like a run up to me. That's a break of the VWAP there. $22 points up. Let's see. Trend here. Let's see if we resume the downtrend. If we continue up here, what I may do is I may wait for this to start giving us down signals again and then average this trade. VIX is coming back down into the 22 area. Getting a little movement down here. See if we come back down through the VWAP. I'm looking at the VWAP on the ES. We've got the VWAP overhead on the SPY. All right, Daniel, 1 minute VWAP is at 672.5. That is exactly where it's at, Daniel, on the SPY. On the ES, it's sitting right here. Gotcha, gotcha. All right, little downward movement here. Very little. Not big at all. Come on. Give us another little push down here. There we go. Let's see if we can reject the VWAP here. That would be great. Little tiny move up here on the VIX. Andrew, good morning. Am I in a call? I'm in a put, Andrew. Glad you're here. All right, let's see if we can come back down and test this bottom. That is all we need. But looks like they could be wanting to play here. So I hate these trades where we get stuck kind of holding. Need a good flush to 670. I agree, BD. That would be great. I'd like to see it come down here and test this bottom again, but looks like they're going to play. Overall, the move is down. I do think, like I said, we should come down and test 6,700 today. We should fill the gap, maybe. All right. Back to the VWAP on the ES. Looks like another move up. What I'll do on this trade is I'll wait for signals to the downside and I'll probably average. Averaging is a higher risk trade. So if you do that, be careful. Make sure your position is not too big. Make sure you're prepared to lose the whole thing if you do average. Averaging just means buying more of the same trade at a lower price to get your average price lower. All right, the bad thing about options starts to eat premium over time. Yep, that's exactly right. And that's why they do it, BD. Daniel Icor still holding calls from earlier and puts need here. That is rough, Daniel. That is rough. Looks like you're let's see if we get a push up to the VWAP here. Looks like your calls might pay. But this is what the game is, right? To trap you inside of a range. That's always the game. All right. We're just over under the VWAP here. Right here. Another little move down. Not very big. Just kind of playing. Let's take a look at the volume real quick. Have your volume sitting on the put side at 672 level, which is just overhead. We do have call volume sitting at 672 as well. So that's, 673. Okay. Take a quick look at gamma. We are sitting in positive gamma but only by about 500 million, which seems like a lot, but in the big scheme of things, not really. 2.4 in negative put gamma, 2.4 billion, 2.9 billion in positive call gamma, with a net gamma of 516 million. We've got the call wall sitting at 673 and another level right above it at 675. We have the put wall at 670 and 665. So really kind of right in the middle. All right, we are back up here to this high of day, bumping its head a little bit here. It's just kind of trading sideways right here. Muticore Comedy. Good morning. Welcome. It's so nice to have you here. Tell me if I said that right. Muticore. If there's a better way, let me know. All right, BD, might be like yesterday. Violent move in the direction you don't want, been my personal experience. It has been. It's been a challenge over the last few days. All right. So we are sitting on this put that has against us a bit. We got it down here and then it reversed. So what we're waiting for here, go back down to this level. Let's see if we can get that. Right now it's holding high of day from yesterday. And this is on the futures chart, which is slightly different than the SPY chart. Just sideways. And looking at the leaderboard, what we do see, what's interesting to me today, is we do see oil moving up a bit. So sweet crude futures are sitting at about 95, up about 2%. So that is negative for the market. So even though the market is moving up today, we are seeing oil also moving up. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there. All right, coming back down just a bit. And if I get put signals, I will go ahead and average that trade. So far, I don't have them. We do have the mags coming down, only sitting at 0.21. Now, remember, the mags is the ETF that holds the Magnificent Seven. Those are the 7 big tech titans, the big tech stocks, the NVIDIA, Google, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta. They're all housed in an ETF called MAGS, and that one kind of gives you a view of all of the tech stocks at a glance. So I use that a lot to determine kind of what direction we could be going. All right, BD, gonna call it a day. Made 8.3 for my account. Nicely done, BD. Mel, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for another great session. I appreciate you, BD. You have a great rest of your day. We are almost at the end of the stream, so let me go over the trade management on this put. If I get put signals, meaning the MACD starts rolling over, which it is starting to do right now, I will average it and wait for jump out at probably a break even or a small win. And if it continues to move up, same thing. I'm going to wait for put signals and average for a move down. That'll be my management on this trade. Don't average if it's going to make your position too big. So don't follow with that if it turns your position size too large. Okay, that's really important. Better to take the loss, which we're sitting at about 22% right now. That is not a bad loss. I take 20% losses all the time. It's not a bad loss. If you don't want to make your position big and risk more capital, better to take the loss here. All right, Gavilan, right now down about 20%. Exactly, Gavilan. So if you don't want to average and make that trade bigger, better to take the loss right here. It is easily recoverable, okay? All right, guys. Well, we are coming up to the end of the stream. It's fun. We took a couple of good trades this morning. This one is not going our way, but I'm going to manage this a little bit longer. Like I said, I personally will average it. Don't do it if it'll make your trade too big. Okay, I started my trade super small, so an average won't hurt me. But that is going to do it for me this morning. I appreciate, will I post the average? I did not alert this, Jeff. Most of my trades over here on the YouTube channel, most of them I don't alert on by alerts. It's two different platforms. But I will mention it in the, I'll mention it in the chat. Okay, Jeff. And I'll let you know if I do average it. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We will be back again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. And I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Have a great St. Patty's Day. We will see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Thanks so much for joining. Bye for now.